get him. Let's go get him today, man. Let's go. Hey, double down 3. 1, 2, 3. Double down.
Let's get to the big news now, right? Bobby Wagner, he signed yesterday. What were your original thoughts? Not necessarily in relation to the 49ers, but just in general.
Just in general, I mean, listen, I was kind of like, I kind of figured like Rams. I mean, listen, I don't think the Rams got totally better. I think Bobby is definitely a better linebacker than I think Hader was out there last year. I think they had a couple guys. Something I forgot his first name, but it's something Lewis. A lot of guys like I think he's better than those guys. I'm not gonna lie to you, but honestly, I'm not really up in arms about it. Like to me, Bobby just really doesn't move the needle for the 49ers essentially, and I think basically, I think Bobby with Warner would be a beautiful tandem because I think Warner is obviously elite and is the best coveraging linebacker in the league right now. And he's an okay run defender. I mean, he fills gaps good. He's average to above average in that department. But Bobby's elite at run defending, but he's horrid in pass coverage. So those two tandems, and that would lead me to believe like what they have in Tampa Bay with Levante David and Devin White.
Yeah.
Devin White, yeah, those two. Like Devin White is an elite run defender, and he's okay at pass coverage. But Levante David is elite. He's an elite tackler, an elite coverage guy. So those two work well together. And not that you could have had something like that with the 49ers here. But I mean, to me, them signing AR also just they lost a lot of guys. So that's just their approach, right? Like you can't knock. That's what McVay and Les Snead are known for. They do that type of stuff. They're very aggressive, And the 49ers, I'm not going to say they sit on their hands, but they'll try to weigh every option. They'll try to look. They'll put the blueprint out on the table and they'll look for any avenue that they see fit. And one thing is, if they get outbidded, they're not going to get into a bidding war with a lot of teams. Like we've seen this time and time with John Lynch, and the statements he makes. So I think all in all, for the Bobby Wagner, it's kind of bittersweet, but I'm not really, it doesn't really move the needle for me, man. I mean, I think signing Bobby is okay, but I just don't think, the type of player he is in this career. Again, he's still a great run defending linebacker, but pass coverage, he's horrid, and I just don't think they're able to have anybody out there opposite of him. So I'm not really upset about it. I mean, I know Sherman was poking fun about it. I don't know if you saw it. But I saw the Sherman tweet.
He responded to me, yeah.
Yeah, and people were liking his stuff. So big announcement coming tomorrow. But unfortunately, he went to the Rams, and so be it. Just another division rival that gets another division player. So
yeah, and I mean, talking from the Rams' perspective first, right? Bobby Wagner is a huge addition. Allen Robinson was a huge addition, but we definitely, like you said, can't forget about the players they've lost. Right? They lost Von Miller, Sebastian Joseph Day, and Agbania Okoronkwo, 3 key players in their rotation on the defensive line last year, which is arguably the most important position on a defense. And they lost 3 players. I'd much rather them, or if I'm thinking in the Rams' perspective, I would much rather have Von Miller than Bobby Wagner on that team, just because of the positional value that an edge rusher brings, especially with the fear that defense provides, right? Like they were able to make and win a Super Bowl with a below-average linebacker group because guess what? They only employ one linebacker at times because they value the edge rushers and they value the cornerbacks more. That's why Ernest Jones was the guy who's playing a lot. So I don't exactly know where Bobby Wagner currently fits. But not only that, they lost Robert Woods in a trade. They lost Darius Williams, their number 2 corner last year. They lost Andrew Whitworth to retirement. They lost Austin Corbett, another guy on their offensive line, and they lost Johnny Walker. So it's not necessarily just their defense that's getting worse. Parts of their offense got worse too, along the offensive line especially. And then their special teams unit got a bit worse, where they lost their key punter who's been a part of their organization for a while. So I think all 3 facets of their other kind of team got worse, although they signed big name players. But the one thing you can count on the Rams to do is draft well. The reason that a lot of people focus on the big moves, but the reason the Rams are able to keep such a competent team with the amount of big moves that they make is because they draft extremely well. And so if they can fill the holes, good for them. But right now, it seems like the Rams did get worse this offseason. And when we look at the 49ers, guess what? Yeah, they got worse on the offensive line. The offensive line is a huge question mark right now, especially because right now we do not know whether Mike McGlinchey is going to come back fully healthy or not. That is a huge question mark. I know the 49ers are looking at right tackles in the draft currently. They're looking at guys, at least interviewing them. So that kind of shows a little bit of concern around Mike McGlinchey. The offensive line, we don't know who's starting at right guard currently. Alex Mack still hasn't made an official statement regarding his return, although it's strongly considered that he will. So the offensive line is a bit of a concern. Along the defense, yeah, we lost starting key and we lost DJ Jones. But I do think that with our ability to just plug and play players along the defensive line, is along with us not losing any key aspects of our defense, I think that is a reason why we shouldn't be in a state of worrying right now. And so us personally, you're right. Bobby Wagner would have been a luxury pick. He would have been a great player because him and Fred Warner would balance each other out. But we do have the young bull in Azeez Al-Shire, who was very solid as a tackler and very solid in run defense last year. And he also brought the aggression that the 49ers like. They like physicality and aggression. And that's something Azeez Al-Shire brings as a tackler. Even if he misses tackles, that's something he brings. And he was also fairly solid in pass coverage too. So you provide the two-way element, and that kind of brings versatility to the defense. And that's something that you'll like from a guy like Azeez Al-Shire. So now you can divert the resources that you'll eventually obtain elsewhere, where I think a lot of players are still going to be available by the time we still cut Jimmy Garoppolo.